What is up, everybody, on YouTube? We're about to go live on TikTok, so give me just a second. Here we go. Trump Balls Room. I can't be as hilarious in the title as I am on YouTube, unfortunately. But here we go. Do I have something else running? No, we're good. Okay. What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Liberal Loudmouth, and we're back again on the TikTok. We're live on TikTok now. Let's do the damn thing. All right. Now, let me start doing my stuff. Once you guys get in here, start tapping, do all the things. You know how to do the things. The things that you do on the live. Let me turn my volume down. Here we go. Okay, let me share it out. We are live. I feel like I've been spamming people with my live every day, so I'm just going to send it into my groups. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? Come on in. Welcome aboard. Good to have you. Give me a second. We just got started, so, just make yourselves comfortable. Tap the screen, share it out, repost. All the things. All the things. All right, now I'm going to swap over to the alt so I can still yap on the panel even while I'm outside. Sweet. There we are. And here I am. Booyah. All right, we got that out of the way. What's up, everybody? You guys are welcome to come and join the panel anytime you'd like. It's going to be, I've been very, very, knee deep in that game that I showed everybody yesterday. I'm actually working on the back end stuff to get it to function as a game where you can play it online. It's actually going quite well. Getting a lot done as far as that goes. And I'm hoping to hear from Hecate. I never got a message from Hecate, but my ability to be able to do this also means that we will be able to produce an app in the way that we had talked about before, essentially gamifying protesting this fucking bullshit. Because people need direction. A lot of people, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. And so if you gamify these actions like support this local store, support this, don't do this, move your money from a fucking bank into your credit union, and you get points, rewards, what have you. We can work out the details later. Dag host M, dude, I swear they were using your voice as a segment. Who Dag? I don't know who is. Welcome in. Good morning, Wrath. Good morning, Brianna. Chip, smoke and talk, multitasking at its finest. Exactly. And I can do it with it because on my alt, I don't put my face on the camera. On CNN. What? Is there a video of this? I mean, somebody yesterday said I was famous. Was it yesterday somebody said that, or last week? I don't remember. Somebody said that. I'm almost famous. I did, however, once. I had a dude. I was playing GTA. He recognized my voice when I'm playing GTA. We were, doing missions together or whatever. And he had seen my YouTube channel because one of my videos had gotten, I don't know, 200,000-300,000 views. And it was that video that he saw and he recognized my voice. It was kind of weird. Dag host. So what say you? What happened? What's going on?
So this morning I was listening to CNN and they had a segment about how the left media and the left commentators or whatever are fueling the fire for this division in our society. And dude, I swear it was your voice that they didn't say who it was, but it was I couldn't believe it. I thought it was your voice.
What? Okay, CNN. What was the segment called?
It was about the division in our society. It was on that one chick's show. She's kind of, I don't know, she's kind of right leaning maybe, but she's supposed to be a moderate or whatever. I can't remember what her name is.
That's crazy. Well, maybe somebody will send it my way, but
Yeah, maybe they'll pick up on it or something. Yeah, it was just funny. I was like, man, is that Liv or what?
I've only got 16 viewers. That's homage to somebody we know. She who shall not be named. It was called Dems Are Stupid. Scott, Dag, you've got some serious background noise. I don't know what's going on there. Are you in a semi?
Cool. I'll drop. I'm in my work. I'm at work in the machine shop. I'll drop back down.
See.
I just like listening to you, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the heads up. I'll look for that a little later. One highlight mix. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know.
You can drop me back down now.
All right, man. Peace. Yeah, so before we get going, you know, the world sucks. I did a video, but just right before I went live, I walked outside to, you know, smoke it up, what have you, and I saw this little guy, and I've seen him before. I saw this little guy on a mop bucket handle, and so I had to get this video. So just, you know, just a moment of zen for you guys. He's awesome. He's got a white stripe down his back. I've asked people in the comment section to help me name him. So if you want to offer some names for this guy, please do. You're welcome to. Yeah, it's a brown and null, I believe. And I'm pretty sure it's a male because of his orange dewlap. It done lapped around his neck. The dewlap, the don't lap. Igor. Ooh, I like that. Igor. I like that. Yeah, no, so I've seen him a couple of times, and he's like, he doesn't like take off running and shit when I walk outside. So, you know, we're like, you're cool, man. Just don't get too close. I was able to get the camera pretty close to him though, so that's pretty neat. Anyway, I thought I'd share because he's pretty sweet. What the hell was I gonna? I was gonna bring something else up. Anyway, Trump's balls. He wants a room for them. I don't think his balls are big enough, but you know, who knows? Good morning, buddy, Brianna. So let me put this up. We were talking about this yesterday, and so maybe it's beating a dead horse. Maybe this is old news or totally irrelevant. I don't know. I don't really care. But this speaks to motive, right? I know Dylan was like questioning, you know, the point of even talking about it, really. But immediately after, the DOJ cites White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting in push to drop lawsuit against Ballroom. And of course, the people that are suing to stop it, they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And they're like, it's so dangerous. This is the place where Ronald Reagan was shot at. So, yeah, I mean, it does seem to me that it's very possible that dude worked that out. Who knows what he could have promised to that guy to get him to do that. Who knows? They should put a colorful play net around it like the kids' ball play areas. That's funny. Got to get that ballroom built, baby. What's up, Grunkle? Grunkle Trucker. A trucker, nothing more. God is good. Life is good. Maintain your lane and keep on trucking. I like it. Except for the God part. I could have done without that. Oh, God. Who dis? Let's see.
Good morning, sir.
What's up, Trumpstein? What's up, man?
Did you see Stephen Miller using his pregnant wife as a human shield?
I saw that. Hold on, let me pull that up.
Did you see RFK ran away like he did in the Oval Office when that guy passed out and left his wife at the table?
I didn't see that one, but dude was like grabbing her tatas as he was.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I don't think he was actually using her as a shield. I think it just worked out that way. But yeah, I mean, he's like, the rest of you can go, but the right tata, it's coming with me.
He thought it was the last time he was going to see it.
No, just don't take the movie.
Check this one out. Did you see Patel? Patel was sitting when the shit's going down, Patel's sitting in the middle of the room at a table all by himself. And I guarantee he was thinking, well, shit, everybody's running. The bar must be open. Let me hit it.
He was drinking, or are you just making that as a joke because he drinks all
I'm
the time?
making it as a joke,
Okay,
but I
okay.
guarantee you he was fucking drinking.
Oh, probably. Hell, he was probably already hammered. Now, Grunkle, I sent you an invite. What's up, man? As a fellow trucker, welcome aboard. I appreciate all truckers on the panel.
Thank you, sir.
What's up, man?
I know. I just put a little benign comment down there.
Yeah, I got to get
Got
that.
invited
So,
up.
are you in favor of building that ballroom with like the secret underground bunker?
Well, as far as I know, the bunker's always been there, But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's being paid for with private funds,
No, it's not.
Seems
Wrong.
like a more secure.
Seems like a more secure what?
It seems like it would be a more secure area than a hotel, a hotel conference room. So yeah, I mean, get it built, get it done. It's gonna be built. These lawsuits are frivolous anyway, so
He can't fucking do it. It's against the law, dude.
Yeah, can you explain how the lawsuits are frivolous?
well, I'm just giving you my perspective. I think
Well, I
it's
mean-
a frivolous lawsuit.
Well, you should deal with facts, dude.
Well, right. I mean, what about them makes them frivolous? Just, because the president
Well, I
shouldn't be able to just unilaterally just start tearing down historic buildings and rebuilding them as, you know what I mean? Like this should be a process.
That was a historic building, in your opinion?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
You don't think that it was?
Okay. No, it wasn't part of the original
Oh, my
White
God.
House that was built. So,
Hey,
what was it built
loudmouth, I
like?
gotta go. I
It was
can't deal with
built
this
only-
stupidity. Have a good day,
It
sir.
was,
All right, thanks, Trumpstein, man.
wow,
We'll catch you later.
Insults, yeah, and you're allowing him to insult me. That's awesome.
Well, look, I can't control what other people do. I'm not their daddy. Just like you, I'm not going to dictate
You
your
just sit
actions.
by and allow it to happen. How it, people insult me and you don't say shit. That's cool. Go ahead.
Does that bother you?
No, I'm just pointing it out.
Okay,
That's usually the way
that
it goes.
he
But
said.
when I come on this panel, when I come on opposition panels to have an adult discussion, I get insulted, and nobody says
Did
shit. But
I
guarantee
insult you?
If I insulted somebody, I guarantee if I
Did-
insulted anybody
did
on this
I
panel, I'd probably
insult
get
you?
muted and kicked off.
Did I
No,
insult
you just
you?
sat there and allowed it to happen and say didn't say shit.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Let's review what just happened, shall we? He said,
I was insulted.
"I'm gonna." He said,
didn't say shit.
"I'm go," because he said he was leaving.
You allow that on your panel.
He was
It's okay.
leaving.
It's okay.
Grunk. No,
Let's move
no.
on.
He said
Let's
he was.
move on.
No. We're not going to move on.
Apparently
You don't
you're-
get to dictate what we talk
apparently
about
you're
here.
drilling down,
If you don't,
into
yes,
this
of
minutia.
course I am, because you brought it up
Well, go ahead.
multiple
Go ahead,
times, and now whenever I go to
I was just
respond,
pointing it out.
yeah, right,
I
multiple
didn't know you
times,
were gonna,
and now you're
get
bitching
all
because I want to
in
talk
your
about it.
feels about it.
No.
I
You're
didn't know you
saying
were gonna
that
get all
I
in your
am
feels about me
supposed
pointing out
to.
that somebody insulting me and you didn't say shit. I didn't know you.
He
Sorry.
was leaving, Grunk. What did you want me to do, Grunk? Drop
No,
him?
apparently I
Because
don't
he
want
was
you to do
leaving
anything.
anyway.
I don't want you to.
The guy
Do whatever you
literally
want.
says,
It's your panel.
I'm leaving. I can't deal
your
with
panel, bro.
I mean,
Do
whatever
whatever
it
you
was
want.
that he said. And you immediately, as he dropped, oh, he insults me, and you just sit there and do nothing. He's gone, Grunk.
That's usually the way. It
Why
goes
are you
on
crying
opposition
about
panels.
it? Why are you crying
I'm not.
about
You're
it?
the one going on and on about it, not me.
You're
I'm
the one
trying to
that
move
brought
on.
it up multiple times, you
I
gaslighting
didn't know
fuck.
that you were going to get bogged down into this, nonsensical minutia.
Okay.
If I'd have known that, I'd just kept my mouth shut.
Okay, so what
But
happened is that
apparently you
you
have
got
ADHD
butt
and
hurt.
You're easily distracted.
You
so-
got butt hurt.
No.
You brought it up multiple times. You
Oh, I got
whined
butt
about
hurt.
it.
Okay.
You
So now
whined
you're
about it.
assuming
You
things.
whined about it
Even though I'm just
multiple
pointing it
times.
out,
And then the
now
one
you're
time
assuming
that
that
I
I'm butthurt.
respond about it,
Okay.
then you're going to get butt hurt and say that I'm getting
Right,
stuck in the
right.
minutia
I'm butthurt about it.
of
just
the
by
thing
pointing
that
it
you
out.
brought up.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
We can move on because I'm pretty sure everybody in the
Well,
comments
I
sees
would
how
have liked to
ridiculous
move
that
on
is.
like an hour ago, That would.
Well, then you shouldn't have brought it up multiple times, Grunk.
I didn't bring it up multiple times. I brought it up
Yes, you
once,
did.
and then you went on this little tirade about it.
You want me to replay it?
I brought it up once, and then
you want me to replay it?
On and on about it. See, this is how easy it is with you people.
Do you want me to replay it? No, because we deal in facts here, and the fact is,
moving on. I thought we were moving on.
We were, and then you kept talking about it. You kept talking about it. Okay, so you think that Donald Trump wants a ballroom, or that he should get a ballroom, and that the president should be allowed, that the president should be allowed to unilaterally destroy buildings that Congress has approved, and he by himself gets to just destroy them and then rebuild whatever he wants without any say-so from the representatives of the people. Is that what you're saying?
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's just a freaking press. It's just the East Wing. I mean,
But the law isn't fine with it. And so you said earlier that the lawsuits are frivolous. Can you explain to me how they're frivolous?
Point of view, I'm telling you my perspective.
Okay, frivolous has a definition, doesn't it?
Lawsuit.
It seems like it, and I'm asking you why. Why is it frivolous? Why is it frivolous?
It's going to eventually get built.
Why is it frivolous?
It seems like it.
It seems like, but you don't have any evidence. You don't have any evidence to support that claim.
Already resumed.
Grunk, do you have any evidence?
Now it's resumed, and now it's going to get built.
Grunk, do you have any evidence to support your feeling about it being frivolous?
It's frivolous.
Answer the question.
It's been resumed.
No.
I just told you.
If somebody breaks the law, should they not be allowed to be stopped by the courts, even if they're just continuing to do the thing that's illegal?
Construction has resumed, so it's a frivolous.
If somebody is breaking the law and a lawsuit is filed and they say stop and the person continues to do the illegal thing,
construction resumed. From what I understand, construction has resumed. So
because Donald Trump does whatever he wants. He thinks that he's a king.
It seems pretty pointless.
He thinks that he's a king, Grunk.
He goes to a judge and then construction resumed, and then you're sitting here saying it's criminal what he's doing. If it's criminal, he should have been. It should have been stopped altogether, but it's not.
I didn't say what he was doing was criminal, but it's a violation of the law.
It's being constructed. Construction has resumed, so it's good to go.
And when the lawsuit is saying you're not allowed to do that, you're saying because construction has continued, that makes it frivolous? I'm
saying it's being built. If it's criminal for him to do it and against the law, construction wouldn't have resumed.
So essentially,
wouldn't that be just the logical thing to think?
Grunk, essentially what you're telling me is that you just operate on feelings. You don't care about facts. You don't care about law.
I'm looking at construction.
I don't. That's not what I asked you.
Resumed.
Listen. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute you because you just continue to talk. You haven't answered my question. You believe, let me ask you, hold on, let me ask you, do you believe that the President of the United States gets to unilaterally make every decision and bypass Congress, even when the law says that he has to go to Congress for things? Do you believe that that's okay? Go ahead.
Oh, was I muted? Oh, man, I answered.
Well, of course. Yes, you were muted because you won't stop talking.
Well, darn, I answered you while I was on mute. Damn, I'm sorry you missed. That's what happens with
Well, then answer it again.
You people are so fucking unserious. Bye-bye.
Okay. Have a good day, Grunk. That's ridiculous. And see, people like that, like it doesn't surprise me why they would vote for Donald Trump. I mean, they operate in their feels. They don't actually care about law. This guy can't even explain what frivolous means. He probably doesn't know what frivolous means. Anyway, Dre, what's up, man? Dre, what's up, dude? I don't think Dre meant to come up. Lonnie, what's up?
What's up? Nothing much. I mean, that whole conversation was insufferable.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Like the fact that you get up here and someone decided that they were going to protect their own peace and say I'm going to drop because I don't want to deal with this mess. You got all your Fruit of the Looms in a
That
bunch.
dude was like straight up on his knees in the fetal position, bawling his eyes out because Trumpstein said that he wasn't going to deal with that dumbass. And Trumpstein called it, though. Trumpstein called it. That man was an absolute dumbass. Good morning, Misty. That was crazy.
And everything about
and then gaslighting. That I think that is the funniest part. The guy was like, "Why do you keep getting bogged down in this?" Like, bro, you brought it up like 6 times before I even was able to respond.
Tried to say, "Oh, I was muted. I answered while I was muted." Like, no,
it's so stupid.
He's a rage baiter, or he tried to be, and he came to the right place for that because he didn't get very far.
Yeah, well, even the audience didn't really like it. We went from 50 people down to like 25. So if that was Grunk's purpose, good job, buddy.
No, he wanted to rile up the panel. He wanted the panel to flood up here and start arguing with him. And nobody came up here to argue with him. You didn't let anybody up, whether you realized it or not. The fact that nobody came up, he didn't win his little hissy fit. He didn't get people to come up here and start riling and getting all bent out of shape because, he has impulse control, or he lacks impulse control.
This is the problem with this country is that there are so many people like Grunk that just operate on vibes, the way that they feel about something. They can't point to why. It just feels that way. The laws don't matter. Just the way I feel. That's
what they were told.
Pretty wild.
It's not how it's. They don't even know how they feel. They were told to feel that this is an issue. Just like, he got up there with that reporter, and she had mentioned a comment that was made in the manifesto, and he went to, "I'm not a beep, and I don't beep, and I'm not this beep 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 beep," and she was just like, "So you mean to think that he was talking about you?" Like, he automatically jumped into this assumption that the manifesto, I mean, I get it because, allegedly he was aiming for him, allegedly, but at the same time, like, the fact that you couldn't even just, they're all told what to do. They're all told what to say, how to feel, what to think. This is why these conversations are so hard to have with them, because when you show them even video evidence that Donald Trump has said that smart people don't like me, they will twist themselves into pretzels to prove that they are smarter.
Well, either way, Trump is an idiot. I think he even knows that.
No, I wanted to say that we already have a bunker underneath, like, the central part of the White House. Like, it's been there for a long time, and they've upgraded it as they needed to upgrade it.
Donald Trump wants his balls to feel safe. Okay.
I'm surprised you think he has some, because I don't.
Well, they're at the hotel.
I think they're over there with BB Yahoo, but I think BB Yahoo got him, but that's just my opinion. But
I just got a violation for harassment and bullying. Grunk is down there. This fucking guy. So live has been restricted for 10 minutes. Good job, Grunk.
Ain't nobody harassed or bullied him at all. That's the crazy part. We were having a conversation about a whole different topic. Like, the fact these people be in they feel so deep is just crazy, but then they call us and tell us we do all this crying and whining and everything else, is wild work how this application works.
Well, it doesn't want us to progress as society. And a lot of these Democrats don't either. Gotta say. Ball talk.
I say when you get back to the computer to go ahead and reset the live, because you've only been on for a little while. Just go ahead and restart it, and everybody come back, so that way it doesn't.
Wait. Hold on. My alt. I have to drop my alt. What? That's crazy. Yeah, it was the alt. Yeah, I'm just gonna restart. right, we're back. I just restarted. That's so fucking stupid. Jesus Christ. All right. Let me go back up in my alt. Of course, I can't bring my alt back up for 10 minutes. What a bunch of losers. The alt, though, getting snagged is pretty funny. Yeah, that's pretty wild, Wrath. I'm with you on that one. That's... Hey, must be doing something right. Now I can't bring the bitch up for 10 minutes. And by bitch, I'm talking about my alt, in case those white liberal women that hate me are watching. But they'll clip it out anyway. They'll remove all... Oh, my God! He said that bitch! Why does he always call women bitches? Anyway, what's up, Lonnie? Welcome back.
Yeah, like I was saying, like that was this... Like yesterday, I had a different point of view. I was trying to look at it from many different angles. And I'm glad you can understand that, I'm just trying to feel, just give everything just a good critical thought, not just jump on something because the masses are on it, just try to think things through. But today I will say that I am more in a belief that trying to convince them to let him build this ballroom was part of the plan that happened Saturday night. I will go ahead and concede my argument and say that
was like the first thing they said in that press conference right after he brought that shit up.
Well, I just saw, is it Jerome Powell? Who was just standing, because I shared it in the group chat, where he was like, we're gonna ask Congress to give us $400 million to build this ballroom. Some of it's gonna come from donors, some of it's gonna come from...
And you know what? These fucking Democrats will probably vote in favor of it because they all immediately came out and they were like, there's no place for this political violence. We can't be having this political violence in our country. Motherfucker, they are being violent against us and y'all don't do shit about it. And now you want to like complain because, some dude went running down the hallway. I don't get it.
We're
so fucked.
Like, people were saying, like, he's as long as he's been president for the 5 years in total. This is the first time he chose to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, like the first time in the 5 years in total that he's been president of the United States. And then all of a sudden this happens. Like, yes, it's very suspicious. Like I said, I'm willing to concede my argument. I don't have a problem with that. You know me. I'm not one of them, stuck on it. I can see the evidence and move forward. But, the fact that they stood on his cabinet stood up there, multiple people, all saying the same thing, verbatim, on different news broadcasts. This is why he needs the ballroom. This is why he needs the ballroom. This is why he needs the ballroom. Like, I'm like, okay. So
as if we don't already pay a bunch for Secret Service and they can't utilize Secret Service. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
The Correspondents' Dinner wasn't going to happen at the ballroom anyway. Like, it never was going to happen at the ballroom. Even if we had the East Wing, even if he never would have tore it down to begin with, the Correspondents' Dinner never happened at the White House. It always happened in that hotel. So the argument falls flat. You know what I mean? Like, if he wouldn't have tore it down to begin with, he wouldn't have this issue. Right.
Well, I don't even mind building something onto the White House. I don't even give a shit. Like, whatever. But follow the fucking process. Why this guy can't just go to Congress speaks to him wanting to be a king. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And of course, Grunk, he would never answer that question, but it's
why he can't respect the presidents before him and the contributions to the White House, like the Rose Garden. Like, you went and flattened the whole one of the Rose Gardens. That, you know what I'm saying? For what? What was the reason for that? You know what I mean? Like, you're just going in there destroying the quote unquote people's house, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the people's house. It's not supposed to be his personal residence like Mar-a-Lago. It's the people's house, and you're supposed to have the privilege of residing in the people's house because you are supposed to be the one to govern the people of the United States. But you got in there and just kicked your shoes off figuratively speaking, and put your feet all up on the coffee table, like I'm gonna do whatever I want, and ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing. When the rules clearly state that you have to go through the chain of command before you change anything in the people's house, and you don't want to do
Now,
that.
now, real quick, raw. I'd been looking because you had put that up about the full picture. I'm pretty sure that is not Donald Trump leering in the back. Let me just show. I know that I've seen videos of people making this statement, but here he is grabbing her boobies. I do not believe that. I believe that is a bald guy, and he's got a bow tie. I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump does not wear a bow tie. I'm pretty sure he wasn't wearing a bow tie that night. So that, that's not Trump. Just to put that to bed. And see, this is, a lot of times people will jump on stuff like this. No shade to you, rah. I've seen TikTok videos with 100,000 plus views stating this, but then, when it comes around or whatever, it just makes all of us kind of look silly.
That's why and this ain't no shade to rah because it's easy to fall victim to this stuff. This is why yesterday I was trying to think of things from a different perspective and not automatically be like, not that it happened to be that I was wrong on that, and I'll admit that, but to sit down and let's really think long and hard before we just kind of grab what, especially on this app, knowing the narrative that they control on this app, knowing that people are paid to push these narratives on this app, we really have to be mindful. And I'm glad you said something, rah, so that way you could get, it proved, shown to you, and it can get explained like Liv does so well. This is why we like Liv, because he's not going to just feed us the bull. But I also say we have to think for ourselves just as much as we tell these Trumpers to think for themselves, and understand that this app is full of mis and disinformation.
Yep. And even a lot of these liberals, I question some of them on the app, as being plants, just to, keep pushing shit to make it, make us look bad or whatever. Like, oh, look, they said he did this, but you know what I mean? So I don't know. It is kind of funny, though, to, like pulling a Karl Rove or Dick Cheney. Who was it? It was in the bushes during the Bush years, who's like leering over the bushes. I think that was Karl Rove, wasn't it?
It might have been.
Let me see. Karl Rove in the bushes or Dick Cheney. He's standing back there with a shotgun ready to pepper his friend in the face. You remember that? Oh, my God. It's so crazy because when living through that, it seemed like the worst thing ever. But then now, like, man, wouldn't that be nice?
Like you got the press secretary up there talking about Trump's not trying to push violence, and he's trying to protect us all. But yet in the very next clip, you can clearly see him say the most vile, heinous, disrespectful thing about people that work in the government, but yet he's not doing that. That's not him. That's everybody on the left. You know what I mean? Like, she went on this whole naming a list of people on the left, from Josh Shapiro to, the person that is, Hakeem Jeffries. We know he's a problem, but I'm just stating the fact that she's like, oh, they're lying. They're saying all this negative stuff about Trump, and he's pushing this violence narrative, and he's not doing that. And, he's bringing peace to everybody. Like, what are you talking about? Like, he talks so bad about people on the left. It is ridiculous.
He calls us terrorists.
Right. And yet she's standing up there trying to make it sound like that's not what he's doing. Like, Justin put in the group chat.
Who is saying that that's not what he's doing?
KK Levitt.
Well, I mean, that's her job.
I mean, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's
what I'm saying. Like, they're skewing the narrative because she's standing up there spewing all these lies, but yet you can clearly see, as if you are paying attention and using your thinking skills, that is clearly a lie, because that's what he does. Like, he has to paint somebody the bad guy in order to push his narrative forward, just like the fact that he now wants them to let him build the ballroom because it would be safer to have the correspondence dinner at the White House in the ballroom when it was never at the White House ever in the life of correspondence dinners. And the first time he goes is when this guy decides to do whatever. And then the letter, like I seen somebody was like, I don't think this letter was written by the guy because the guy was, an engineer. Dude. And he wrote a specific word for the 50 cal that only military people use in the letter. And he was like, not everyday civilians use Moss.
Yeah, I haven't read the manifesto. I didn't even look it up because, moment I saw this, I was like, yeah, okay. Anyway, let me get to Jonathan because I'm about to switch gears anyway over to the Powell Memo because a lot of people are talking about that, and I have it. I've read it before. It's been years, but we can go back over it again so that people understand what it is, what it means. What's up? What's up, Jonathan?
Powell, you mean the Powell Memorandum?
Yeah, we're going to, but currently we're still talking about Donald Trump thinking that he needs room for his balls.
Oh, I had something interesting to share. I don't mean to shift gears so much, but
that's fine.
One of my friends on the app, David, was debating our friend Millie yesterday, and Millie was trying to. It got vicious, but Millie was trying to justify the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. And she was basically trying to say that it was okay because some of them were spies that were giving information to Japan. And that was what caused Pearl Harbor, was that Japanese spies gave information to the Empire of Japan, which allowed them to carry out Pearl Harbor. And I was like, what the fuck?
So does that mean then that we can start interning all people who are dual citizens of Israel and or Jewish?
That's a good question. But she was using that to basically justify what we're doing right now with undocumented immigrants and sending them to CCOT and whatnot. And yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean,
it was insane. It's wow.
But that whole anti-commie fervor shit, that's even kind of like the foundation of the Powell Memo. They were just like pushing the Red Scare shit, but in this way it was co-opting corporations or whatever. But very violent, actually. This document, as far as
it was 1971, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Notice how after the Powell Memorandum, you get the Heritage Foundation in 1973. I'm pretty sure you get the Cato Institute. You get the American Enterprise Institute. One after another, all these organizations start popping up that challenge the post-war consensus that government should play a role in regulating the economy for the average American. The Powell Memorandum was basically the pivot in terms of that consensus. And I believe Lewis Powell, he was a Supreme Court justice that was nominated by Nixon. And one of Nixon's big goals was to turn the Supreme Court right-wing. That was one of his big goals as president, and his goal was largely successful, as we can see today.
Yeah, I mean, and it continues today. That corporate takeover. I mean, because he was the dude that was protecting corporations from the stain of tobacco. I believe that was him, wasn't it?
That was him. Yes, he was the one that was
one of them anyway. I'm sure there were many, but yeah, I mean, he was the more prominent of them all. But yeah, I actually have the memo here, so if you guys want, I mean, maybe like watching grass grow, but we can go through it. It's like, I don't know, 30 pages or something. Somebody said it was 8, but I'm pretty sure it's longer than that. Let me see here. Yeah, it's 35 pages. I'm not going to go through the whole thing.
It was written to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, just so everybody knows, which was always an organization that played a big role in influencing politics.
And let me say, because that also created coordination with chambers of commerce, with corporations, even on a greater scale, but also to integrate with government agencies. And so if you ever notice, you'll see like your school board. If you go look at your superintendent at the school board, I can almost guarantee you they are a board member on the Chamber of Commerce. So when a new superintendent of the public schools comes in, they get a seat as a board member of the Chambers of Commerce. Why the fuck do they need a fucking seat on the board of a chamber? Why? This was part of this Powell Memo, this whole like institutionalized corporate takeover, basically, of the government. Lonnie, did you want to finish up on that other stuff, or are you familiar with the Powell Memo? Did you have anything you want to add before we kind of read through some of the crazy shit?
Well, I mean, if you're switching gears, go ahead and switch. I haven't heard about it, so I'm currently over here pulling it up now, just so I can get a little bit more familiar with it. But you can go ahead and move over to it, and I'll just,
Yeah, they even bring up Ralph Nader. He brings up Ralph Nader in this as some like center of this anti-government or anti-capitalism mentality or whatever. It's kind of weird, but it did its job, which was to. So this is it here, Powell Memo, 1971, as we've saw. Let's go. I'll just start from the beginning. No thoughtful person can question that the American economic system is under broad attack. This varies in scope, intensity, in the techniques employed, and in the level of visibility. There always have been some who oppose the American system and preferred socialism or some form of statism, communism or fascism. Also, there's always been critics of the system whose criticism has been wholesome and constructive so long as the objective was to improve rather than subvert or destroy. But what concerns us is quite new in the history of America. We're not dealing with episodic or isolated attacks from a relatively few extremists or even from the minority socialist cadre. Rather, the assault on the enterprise system is broadly based and consistently pursued. It's gaining momentum and converts. And so here, the sources of the attack are communists, new leftists, and other revolutionaries who would destroy the entire system, both political and economic. The extremists of the left are far more numerous, better financed, and increasingly are more welcomed and encouraged by other elements of society than ever before in our history. And then he goes on to complain about the most disquieting voices joining the chorus of criticism comes from perfectly respectable elements of society, college campus, the pulpit, the media, the intellectual and literary journals, the arts and sciences, and from politicians. In most of these groups, the movement against the system is participated in only by minorities. He threw that one in there. Yet these often are the most articulate, the most vocal, and most prolific in their writing and speaking. And so let me get through some of this, because he kind of just spouts off the shit, but when it gets to like the nuts and bolts of how to do it, like it gets kind of wild. They even refer to it as like guerrilla warfare. So William Kunstler, warmly welcomed on campuses and listed in a recent student poll as the, quote, American lawyer most admired, incites audiences as follows. You must learn to fight in the streets, to revolt, to shoot guns. We will learn to do all of the things that property owners fear. This is kind of the message that we have now, right? They have to be afraid of us. The new leftists who heed Kunstler's advice increasingly are beginning to act not just against military recruiting offices and manufacturers of munitions, but against a variety of businesses. Since February 1970, branches of Bank of America have been attacked 39 times, 22 times with explosive devices and 17 times with firebombs or by arsonists. Although new leftist spokesmen are succeeding in radicalizing thousands of the young, the greater cause for concern is the hostility of respectable liberals and social reformers. Fuck it. I think this is where he gets into Ralph Nader. He may have already mentioned it. I may have passed it. A chilling description of what is being taught on many of our campuses. Do you notice the similarity here? Where they're bringing up all the colleges, they're woking your children. They're turning them into, anti-capitalists. It says, Yale, like every other major college, is graduating scores of bright young men who are practitioners of the politics of despair. These young men, despite the American political and economic system, their minds seem to be wholly closed. They live not by rational discussion, but by mindless slogans. A recent poll of students on 12 representative campuses reported that almost half of the students favored socialization of basic U.S. industries. Visiting professor from England at Rockford College gave a series of lectures entitled "The Ideological War Against Western Society." And then let me get down here. Here we go. American business is Ralph Nader, who, thanks largely to the media, has become a legend in his own time and an idol of millions of Americans. A recent article in Fortune speaks of Nader as follows, quote, "The passion that rules in him, and he is an utterly passionate man, is aimed at smashing utterly the target of his hatred, which is corporate power. He thinks and says quite bluntly that a great many corporate executives belong in prison for defrauding the consumer with shoddy merchandise, poisoning the food supply with chemical additives, and willfully manufacturing unsafe products that will maim or kill the buyer." He emphasizes that he is not talking just about fly-by-night hucksters, but the top management of blue-chip business. Imagine you criticizing the guy that is saying these corporations and the CEOs need to go to prison because they are producing products that are killing you and harming you, which Ralph Nader, for the way I believe he was a lawyer, and he had gone against a lot of these corporations and, were representing people injured by these corporations. I believe that's, I'd have to go back and look. It's been years since I've even thought about it, but yeah, I mean, this fucking guy, Powell here, bitching because Ralph Nader is saying that corporations need to be held accountable. Yeah. He goes on, "A frontal assault was made on our government, our system of justice, and the free enterprise system by Yale professor Charles Reich in his widely publicized book, The Greening of America." Powell is literally complaining that people want corporations to be held accountable. If this doesn't tell you what is wrong with this fucking country, I don't know what will, right? Like, we've got to protect the system. He already brought in minorities, so the dude's a fucking racist, and I'm sure he was fighting against this too. Welcome in, Effortless. Now, have you read the Powell Memo, Effortless? Okay, well, maybe she was tapping. All right, anyway, we'll go on. The foregoing references illustrate the broad shotgun attack on the system itself. There are countless examples of rifle shots which undermine confidence and confuse the public. Favorite current targets are proposals for tax incentives through changes in depreciation rates and investment credits. These are usually described in the media as tax breaks, loopholes, or tax benefits for the benefit of business. Well, of course they are. As viewed by columnists in the Post, such tax measures would benefit only the rich, the owners of big companies. This paragraph is crazy. It is dismaying that many politicians make the same argument that tax measures of this kind benefit only business without benefit to the poor. The fact that this is either political demagoguery or economic illiteracy is of slight comfort. This setting of the rich against the poor, of business against the people, is the cheapest and most dangerous kind of politics. This dude, like, what? So the apathy. So in this section here, and I'm not going to read through the whole thing, he complains about how businesses are just kind of responding in PR ways. There's no coordination of businesses to protect the business class, the wealthy people, the CEOs, this free enterprise system that clearly is not fucking free in any way whatsoever. Let me go down here. Responsibility of business executives. This is where it starts to get a little crazy. What specifically should be done, he asks. The first essential, a prerequisite to any effective action, is for businessmen to confront this problem as a primary responsibility of corporate management. The overriding first need is for businessmen to recognize that the ultimate issue may be survival of what we call the free enterprise system and all that this means for the strength and prosperity of America and the freedom of our people. Right. The day is long past when the chief executive officer of a major corporation discharges his responsibility by maintaining a satisfactory growth of profits with due regard to the corporation's public and social responsibilities. If our system is to survive, top management must be equally concerned with protecting and preserving the system itself. And then let's get down here. Possible role of the Chamber of Commerce, and this is why the superintendent of your kid's fucking school is on the fucking board of the chamber, because it's about integrating corporate interests into the into government itself. Hey, what's up, MBW? Yeah, Michael John, why go to college if you want a society to be equal? You go to college to learn, Michael John. I'm not sure I understand how that is, do you not get that? I didn't realize that was something people didn't understand. But apparently Michael John doesn't get it. Anyway, let me move over here. So the campus, and they bring in colleges. The assault on the enterprise system was not mounted in a few months. It's gradually evolved over the past 2 decades, barely perceptible in its origins, and benefiting from a gradualism that provoked little awareness, much less any real reaction. Although origin, sources, and causes are complex, blah, 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 there's reason to believe that the campus is the single most dynamic source. The social science faculties usually include members who are unsympathetic to the enterprise system. They may range from a Herbert Marxist faculty member at the University of California in San Diego and convinced socialist to the ambivalent liberal critic who finds more to condemn than to commend. Such faculty members need not be in a majority. They're often personally attractive and magnetic. They're stimulating teachers, and their controversy attracts students following. They're prolific writers and lecturers. They author many of the textbooks, and they exert enormous influence, far out of proportion to their numbers, on their colleagues and in the academic world. Sounds like he's describing Zionists to me, but yeah, whatever. Let me scroll down. They were taught that, I like this. In an article in Barron's Weekly seeking an answer to why so many young people are disaffected, even to the point of being revolutionaries, it was said because they were taught that way. Or as noted by columnist Stuart Alsop, writing about his alma mater, Yale, like every other major college, is graduating scores of bright young men who despise the American political and economic system. Wow. What can be done about the campus? The ultimate responsibility for intellectual integrity of the campus must remain on the administrations and faculties of our colleges and universities, but organizations such as the Chamber can assist and activate constructive change in many ways, including the following. Staff of scholars. The Chamber should consider establishing a staff of highly qualified scholars in the social sciences who do believe in the system. It should include several of national reputation whose authorship would be widely respected even when disagreed with. Staff of speakers. There should also be a staff of speakers of the highest competency. These might include the scholars, and certainly those who speak for the Chamber would have to articulate the product of the scholars. A speakers bureau. Evaluation of textbooks, all of which we're seeing unfold today. And they've been trying to take over, or take back, I guess I should say, the fucking textbooks from colleges and in public schools. Michael John says, most people I know go to college to live a better life, not an equal life, or get brainwashed. That doesn't even make any sense, Michael John. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, weird logic. We have seen the civil rights movement insist on rewriting many of the textbooks in our universities and schools. The labor unions likewise insist that textbooks be fair to the viewpoints of organized labor. Other interested citizens groups have not hesitated to review, analyze, and criticize textbooks and teaching materials. In a democratic society, this can be a constructive process and should be regarded as an aid to genuine academic freedom and not as an intrusion upon it. Equal time on campus, he brings up. Let's see, balancing of faculties. Let me hold on real quick. I'm gonna do a find, because I think I may have fucking skipped over Hey, what's up, Chip?
Hey, man. Yeah, somebody in the comments was blaming this on Republicans. I wish it was that simple, but unfortunately, the money, and I have a friend that served in Congress, so I know this firsthand, or at least through my friend firsthand. The money's interests go after everybody. They don't care. They're ambivalent to party. They don't care as long as you will vote for their bill, their measure, whatever. They're happy. And so it's industry, which it was for a long, long time. Of course, we have the foreign influence of the landscape that is the blue and white lobby that affects a lot of our foreign policy decisions and, of course, money. But unfortunately, this is deeply entrenched in the system across the board. And it comes down to raising money for campaigns. And the central campaign fundraising committees of each party operate remarkably similarly. And they seek donations from high net worth donors. And the reason is, and it's just pragmatic given that it's like an arms race. You can go to 100,000 voters and get $5, or you can go to one person and get 500 grand. It's obviously a lot easier if you have a rich person that, or a few rich people to do that. And then the party leadership decides where the money gets allocated for the races. So if you're a young, aspiring, let's say you're even an altruistic member of Congress, you want to do well by your constituency. There may be one or two things you can do, get some money for a highway project or get a park built. But for the big issues, you're dependent to vote with the team. If you want to get ahead and get a committee assignment, which gives you more power and more prestige and more influence, you have to play the game. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So even my buddy who went in was he's a great guy. I mean, he really wants to help the constituents. He's a good human being. And yet he was constrained by these very factors. So this is what I'm saying. The sandbox these people get thrust into is a no-win game for most of them. And the only way to change it is to get more than 2/3 of them changed out so they can change the system. It's just not going to happen quickly if it can happen at all. And so Democrats, I think, are marginally better on some issues, no doubt, especially when it comes to social issues and benefits for average people. But on the continuum, both parties are both bad enough that there's no chance in the immediate future for any major changes or reforms coming to society. And we can't vote our way out of that obstacle because it is the obstacle itself. The voting system is the obstacle.
Now, what was it that you were responding to?
Well, somebody in the comments said, Tina said, not to single her out, but this is just a sentiment that a lot of people share. Tina said the Republicans control everything or something to that degree. And, it's just not the case. The system is money. I mean, it's just irrefutable. The math speaks for itself.
I don't see that comment. Was that like a while back?
I responded to it. Let me see. I think it was right before Baltalk started sharing the live out. I wouldn't have responded to it if she didn't write it, obviously.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking that maybe they're like censoring shit because I don't see any message like that.
I don't either, now that I look back. But it was something along the lines of, the Republicans control everything. And I said, unfortunately, the moneyed interests are party ambivalent. They just give money and
it's corporate. These are corporations. I mean, really, that's and I believe he's the same guy that wrote the opinion for corporations being people and having rights. The same guy that's doing this right here, telling that these businesses need to put money out and coordinate with each other to take the fucking systems back. Like this, for example, right here. This was under what can be done about the public, right? In order to convince the public. Reaching the campus and secondary schools is vital for long term. Reaching the public generally may be more important for the shorter term. So television. The National Television Network should be monitored in the same way that textbooks should be kept under constant surveillance. This applies not merely to so-called educational programs such as Selling of the Pentagon, but to the daily news analysis, which so often includes the most insidious type of criticism of the enterprise system. Whether this criticism results from hostility or economic ignorance, the result is the gradual erosion of confidence in business and free enterprise. And by free enterprise, he's talking about oligarchy. I mean, really, because he's not even talking about free market capitalism here. This monitoring, to be effective, would require constant examination of the text or adequate samples of programs. Complaints to the media and to the FCC should be made promptly and strongly when programs are unfair or inaccurate. Equal time should be demanded when appropriate. Efforts should be made to see that the forum-type programs, the Today Show, Meet the Press, etc., afford at least as much opportunity for supporters of the American system to participate as these programs do for those who attack it, which they were already doing. So I don't even understand what the fucking point of that was. Other media, radio and the press are also important, and every available means should be employed to challenge and refute unfair attacks as well as to present the affirmative case through these media. Now, the Republican Party did take over radio all across the fucking United States. They did do that. They really went on a fucking to take over local radio stations, local TV stations, scholarly journals, the books, paperbacks, and pamphlets he lays out here. Paid advertisements. Businesses pay hundreds of millions of dollars to the media for advertisements. Most of this supports specific products. Much of it supports institutional image making, and some fraction of it does support the system, but the latter has been more or less tangential and rarely a part of a sustained major effort to inform and enlighten the American people. If American business devoted only 10% of its total annual advertising budget to this overall purpose, it would be a statesman-like expenditure. So, I mean, he just lays it out here, and they all ran with it. And to your point, Chip, both parties have engaged in this. But again, they play their role. You've got good cop and bad cop. One's good cop, one's bad cop, but they're all going down the same fucking road. They're all walking down the same trail together. And, are we going to be able to change it in any meaningful way? I don't think so.
Somebody mentioned earlier, someone said, why do you go to college then? Like, what's the point of all this? Things can't all be equal. Listen, if you go back in human society, nobody was always equal. You had younger people that were stronger and faster, and they may fill a role of hunting. You have women and younger people who are capable, and they might gather. And you have older people or people that are born with deformities who can't really do much. And so you don't just discard them, or you work together and cooperate and try to do the best you can within the inequalities that are natural. But what we have now are unnatural inequalities. We have systems and institutions that perpetuate and set the systems up into themselves to further increase those inequalities through systems that are blatantly unfair and make it impossible for the individual to navigate a system, or at least very difficult in most cases. And it's purposely done. I mean, just take one example: unionization within the economy in the last 50 years. Like half the companies back in the 50s were unionized. Now it's like less than 5%. That's intentional. That didn't happen by accident. The money in politics is another great example. Tax laws, all the different tricks and loopholes that rich people can use. That, unfortunately, I have family members that have a shit ton of money, and they use all these tricks to pay less taxes. And I think it's blatantly unfair. And this is the system that's been created. What I think we need to have is this: we need to have bare minimums for society. That the Europeans get this, and they're astonished that we have these systems where you can be bankrupted just to help yourself get healthy. That's absurd. The fact that you have so many homeless and people that are addicted to substances that don't get access to treatment, that's absurd. These things just don't exist in most places, or at least not in the scale they exist here. It's the basics, healthy food that isn't poisoned for profit. This is not complicated. This isn't like outrageous demands. This is simple stuff. The fact that you go to certain cities, I live near one here, where you go downtown, there's no produce. You have corner stores. You're lucky if you see a horse-drawn carriage once every, couple of days that may draw something, but there's no produce. It's all prepackaged garbage, and people eat that stuff and they get grossly overweight, and then their health, it's a cycle. It's a reinforcing cycle of poverty and unhealth, and it's by design. It's not by accident. I'm sure Baltalk would back me up on this. So this is the problem: is that you have this. The problem is the mindset that one is entitled to hoard and accrue. I call it the serial accumulator class. They have a sickness. They want more. And they want everybody else to just deal with it and take it up the yin yang. And with the Palantir system coming in, they're going to make it so that we have to put up with it, because if we don't, we get cut off from the system for whatever part of the system they want to cut us off of. That's why I'm telling you, these data centers that are being built, those things are not good. We need to, in my view, that's the number one thing we need to put our attention on in the short term, is stop those data centers from being built, because they are basically our enslavement in digital form.
They are. This is like the last, volley at the people. And then, try to get out of that one once you're in it. Good fucking luck. It'll be easier to stop it than it will be to get out of it once you're in there. I mean, especially with these, autonomous drones and shit running around. You got robot dogs coming up into your fucking house, jumping into your window and shit. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's a reality. But you were talking about things that were absurd, Chip. I tell you what's absurd is the fact that I've got almost 60 fucking people in this room and I haven't hit 10,000 likes yet. I've got people who come here all the time, not a fucking like whatsoever. If you guys would please tap that fucking screen for me, I'd appreciate that. And leave comments and do all the things that push this out to the FYP. I'd appreciate it. And now if you hate me, I can understand why you'd sit there and record and clip out and shit and not tap the fucking screen. So fuck you. But if you actually support this live, please tap the screen and leave a goddamn comment. Thank you. Effortless, what's up? Effortless, you are muted. What's up? Okay. Anyway, Chip, yeah, that's twice now. Effortless come up and not said anything. Anyway, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. Oh, now she's coming back. Okay. Now I'm starting to get irritated. I'm already irritated.
I was gifting. That's a good excuse. I was gifting.
That is a good excuse. Anyway, okay, go ahead. Now's your chance. Go for it.
I was saying that, well, now you have not only Palantir, but you have your truck reporting you and getting you arrested potentially because of the biometrics now in your truck. In addition, Ford just put out a whole bunch of patents that will facilitate law enforcement.
Yeah, I played that video on the live yesterday.
In your own vehicle.
Yeah, and read your lips. Read your lips to see what you're saying. Like, at some point, you won't be able to say the things that we're saying without a knock on your fucking door. Because they're going to make life so miserable that the only way that you're going to be able to live life is by engaging in the enforcement of the rules that these people have put on us. It's imperative that we do something. You're breaking up, and your sound is
a little get together where they came up with a bunch of ideas of how to just stick it to the normal human being. One of those ideas being, how much money would you pay to have silence in your vehicle and not have blaring ads just coming out of your speakers?
Fucking can't get away from them. Advertisements, they're everywhere.
Oh, no.
Well,
I'm talking about in your own vehicle.
With that being said, a lot of them are pulling back on the OnStar features in vehicles, and what is it called, the card play or whatever it is to operate they're charging people for the GPS navigation situation in a lot of these newer vehicles. A lot of newer vehicles are getting away from that because people are refusing to pay for the service when they have a phone in their hand that has navigation, and you pay your phone bill, you get navigation. Why would you pay for navigation in your car when you could just use navigation on your phone? So a lot of these car companies that were using stuff like Apple Play or OnStar or whatever, they're realizing they're losing money. They're not making money like they used to. So they are backing off of that. But I do agree that they are using the car to monitor you. They're going to try and say, like, you're too intoxicated to drive, or you look whatever, and control the vehicle. But yeah, it's about power and control. It's about controlling all of us. That's all this ever was. And to Chip's point earlier, I agree, because I know someone who works in DC, and they've explained to me time over and time again how the right and the left work together to keep this situation moving the way that it's moving. They make backdoor deals. They agree to vote on this, and this one will vote on that, just like they did, with pushing, these, CRs forward. Like, there's a whole art to the deal type of situation that happens in DC with the right and the left. And it is to keep this Powell situation moving forward in the way that it's been moving forward. So even the ones like, the way what she told me was this is the reason why Nancy Pelosi refused to support AOC was because AOC wouldn't play the game the way that they were used to playing the game all these years. AOC wanted to do things differently. And so that kept her from supporting AOC and pushing AOC to the front. And so that's why I'm saying, like,
and AOC eventually gave in a little bit and stopped doing that. But that speaks to the problems of the system, because when you get in there, you try to change shit, they won't let you. All of the rules that they've created over the last 100 fucking years or so, they're all geared to preventing that change from happening. Just like Powell's talking about. We got to protect the system at all costs. And that's what they're doing. And we have to fucking say no more.
Right, because AOC was going to change the narrative, and that's why Nancy Pelosi picked that old man who ended up passing away months after he took that office, because he knew how the old game was played of DC. This whole situation goes down. She's new, and so they felt like she wasn't qualified or experienced enough to be put on the front line. And and like I said, Nancy Pelosi is on the Democratic side. But if you don't play the game the way they want you to play the game, you're out. You're not going to be able to be or do what it is that you want to do, which is keeping us in this loop, which has gotten us to where we are. And so when you have Hakeem Jeffries and, Mitch McConnell up here making deals, screaming, well, we'll vote on everything else, but we're not going to vote on funding DHS, there was a backdoor deal made that something maybe similar to like, oh, well, we'll vote on this if you promise to vote on that for us later, and then we'll come back and vote on DHS later. It's scheming and scamming going on in the government. That's why I say the government is the same eagle. We just got two different wings of the same bird. We got the left wing and the right wing, but it's the same damn eagle, because they're all getting their palms at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're getting them greased by the same fucking people. Jonathan, welcome back. Did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I do want to echo what Maverick is saying in the comments, which is what are we going to do about it? Right?
We're going to come on TikTok and we're going to bitch about it, okay? That's what we're going to do.
Right. We're changing the world, right, as we bitch about it. I just don't know. I feel like everybody here has a pretty good grasp of what's fucking wrong with this system. But once again, I want to echo what Maverick is saying. What the hell are we going to do about it? Because although I am showing up for the midterms and I am voting blue up and down the ballot, I feel like at this point that's not even enough, because I don't fucking trust the Democrats.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I was just adding that. You didn't have to stop.
No, you're good. No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just listening for now.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that's the problem. We're here now, and it's going to take a lot in order to change things, and there's not enough people that are suffering enough to help get on board in making change the way that we need to go about making change, because they have effectively scared people into falling in line, like saying we're going to put ICE agents outside of voting polls, voting places, so that when you go vote, and now people are intimidated to go vote, so then they'll use a mail-in ballot. But now he's talking about, oh, well, postmasters don't have to post date, as you drop them off. When they get processed is when they'll get dated, so then that's going to slow up mail-in ballots. And people aren't realizing that they are using these people. They're using people as examples to show you how to fall in line and not fight against the system. And we have to fight against the system.
Well, that's what we're about to talk about. Yeah, that's what I mean? Yeah. So the other day we had talked about, Chip, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about that app. And matter of fact, at the beginning of the show, I was talking about it. The fact that I've been able to, and like I was telling you, I'm working on that game. I'm able to get the back end going. I've got it working, so that now somebody across, halfway across the world could come and play this game that I just built on my own. Which means that I am going to be able to work on that app and create that app that will reward people for actions. It will give direction. It will tell them what they can do in their area. It'll be location specific. So if there's some fucking piece of shit corporation that's operating in bad faith in those areas, which will rely on reports from the public for the record, we can offer some type of reward system so that they engage in things that will protest and boycott this fucking system. And you know what that looks like, I don't know. There's going to be a lot that goes into it, but this is a solution because people are always on their fucking phones. They don't think well enough on their own. A lot of people don't have critical thinking skills. They hear something, they'll turn around, they'll regurgitate it, but they don't really fully understand everything. So having an app that kind of directs these people in that way, I think is a fucking great idea. What do you guys think of that?
Yep, I agree.
Chip, were you there that day whenever Hecate had brought that up?
Yeah, I heard what she was saying, but I wasn't really clear on how it would be structured. So maybe you can kind of re-thumbnail it for us.
Well, I mean, she had kind of a rough like overview and just kind of, it was just an idea. But the way I would deploy it would be, and I don't even know really, because this is something you're going to have to game it out, right? Like what the functions are going to be. But if you, for example, an area where, your school district or a corporation is engaging with a bad entity, you can have these people that are on this app get rewarded for not going there and going somewhere else and either proving it or checking in at this place or whatever the case is, and they get rewards. What that reward looks like, I don't know what it would look like. It would have to be...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. All ideas are welcome.
I wanted to kind of go back to what Lonnie was saying about Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy Pelosi, I think, was a big problem for a long time. And I'm curious why Democrats just allowed her to do her thing for so long and allowed her to stay in there, despite the fact that she was clearly a corporate Democrat. She clearly had a lot of corruption. Why do Democrats turn the other cheek to a lot of corrupt politicians and just let them run the party? That's my question. These are conversations we really have to start having about our party, and we really have to look inward.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts of the app? Like, because the Democratic Party is...
No, it's a good idea. Good idea.
Thank you. Hey, sir, how do you feel about the Patriot Act?
What about the Patriot Act?
Bots can't talk about the Patriot Act. It's in their programming that they can't talk about it. It's weird. Anyway, I was going to say that your app idea is actually really brilliant because it is an excellent opportunity to have the civil disobedience game.
Right. Yeah, and what those missions look like, will change from day to day, hour to hour, possibly. When was the
last time you heard about a good old fashioned sit-in?
Well, a bunch of vets got arrested the other day.
Yeah, buddy.
But see, that's another thing though that has to be worked out is the legal issues, because people that are engaging in this on this app and it'll get sued. The app will get sued into oblivion.
Actually, what you can say is I absolutely exclusively I do not condone doing X, Y, and Z. I think it is very, very bad and terrible. And I once again do not condone anybody conduct this behavior.
Well, the behavior cannot be, because they would RICO that. They would RICO that app. The behavior can't be, go in and trash a fucking building, or, you know what I mean? It can't be like actual breaking laws, because then you have, proof that somebody's telling somebody to do a certain
condemning thing. It. No, you are exclusively condemning it. By the letter of the law, you are covered as long as you exclusively condemn any actions that are illegal. And if you spell out those actions and someone perpetrates those actions, what was very clearly indicated as a part of the terms and services of your app, that you condemn this and you absolutely think that this is reprehensible.
Yeah, that won't necessarily save you. But either way, I'm not sure what you brought up the Patriot Act for.
Because whenever you're dealing with an app, when you're talking to an ML, a multi-language system, they can come off to be a normal person, but there's certain things that they just can't curve into. It's beyond their programming, and the Patriot Act just so happens to be one of them.
Okay. Anyway, I don't even know. I don't even know. This is something that I guess I'll just need to work on.
I think that with the app, giving people incentives to critically think and actually not be so fear driven to not react is a good idea, because I think we need more people to be more informed and know that they have a safe space to go and understand that they don't want us to react. They want us to sit by and just accept what they're doing in this government, and we need to start reacting. And so I think if the app is helping people react and, come together and fight back against the system and help, transform a lot of these systems like school boards and things like that, I think something to that degree would be a good idea. And I think it would do a lot of good. And like I say all the time, this isn't going to be a one solution. This is going to need multiple solutions. So an app would be a great addition to moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about using the app to do what you said. It'll be like Pokemon, right? It'll be kind of like Pokemon, where you go and you find these rare things, whatever it is, some game, whatever the fuck it is. But it'll be more economic digs at these people. And
people in communities can build off of that. Like,
it's going to need funding too, though, guys.
Right. What I'm saying is, like, if it's, you go to a place and you find this situation going on in maybe some school board somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, the people in the community can then come together and do what they need to do to dismantle that problem. So that's what I was saying in that aspect, where it can bring people together.
It would be funny if there was like a school that had used one of those isolation rooms, and then fucking 600-700 people show up because they're all using this app. They show up to the school board meeting in opposition of whatever it is to sign up and speak or whatever. I mean, if you get people to do stuff like that. Because there's so many, think about it. There's so many things going on. Nobody can fucking keep track. I can't even keep track of all the shit that's going on. So if you had a centralized place where it's basically, if you want to help, this is a way to do it. The people in your area need this, right? And or, this corporation engaged in this bad behavior. And so, we're going to reward you for going to its competitor or this other mom and pop shop instead of the, Walmart or whatever it is. Shit like that. I don't know how effective it'll be or what the ideas are, but.
Well, yeah, that's like, Mamdani's talking about government-owned stores, grocery stores in New York, where he wants to start giving the funds to the local businesses and give them tax-free, interest-free loans for having a community grocery store where people have access to, instead of letting Walmart get those funds. He wants those funds to go to somebody in the local area. If you open a grocery store, if you buy a building, he doesn't want that. If the building is being bought for a grocery store, he doesn't want you to pay interest on the loan, and he doesn't want to tax you for the business. And he also wants to fund the government funding that Walmart gets to that local business, so that the cost can remain low and people in food deserts have access to healthy foods and don't have to rely on government assistance, because the products in that location will be reasonable for majority of the people in the community to have access to. Like, stuff like that needs to, we need to start doing that, not just in New York, but we need to start getting our local government to kind of take on some of the similarities of what Mamdani's doing in New York across the country. So that way, we can push out these big corporations. And I agree, it's hard to keep track of everything that's going on. And it's hard to know when to come together, who to come together with,
or what to do,
show up at a school board meeting.
or what to do, because
Right.
we'll toss out all these ideas on the panel, and then people will, once the live ends, they'll go and they'll scroll through TikTok and not even a dig to them. This is just this shit is being done on purpose to flood the zone. So if you can kind of focus that energy a little bit.
Called an attention economy.
Right, and because we doing that would be using their own fucking tools against them. That's how they've gotten us all droned out on these fucking apps in the first place. So if you're using that thing that they've done so well to fuck them, I say good.
Just
But
like the
it's going to need funding, a Kickstarter or something.
Just
But
like the gerrymandering he tried to do in Texas, and then they turned around and did it in California, and then they turned around and did it again in Virginia. Like, they played it back against them. Like, if this is a game you want to play, then we're going to show you how we can do it better. Even though they're protesting, or they're challenging Virginia right now, because Virginia swept blue and they didn't like that. But yeah, I think, we have to use their tools to fight back against them, but we have to be strategic at the same time in a way that is actually going to bring us change, and not just sit here and talk about and actually be active in our local community, like knowing when the school board meeting is. Even if you don't have children in there, you pay taxes, school taxes. So go to the school board meeting, go to your local community.
Or even if you don't pay taxes, go anyway.
Right. But I'm just saying, you don't have children, you still pay school taxes, so go to the school board meeting, because your taxes go towards that local school. You know what I mean? This is the stuff that we have to start doing on a local level to spark change as well, in our own neighborhood, instead of just getting on this app and saying what we're going to do and then actually going out and doing it.
Okay, Chip, did you want to add anything?
Well, I just said down in the comments, somebody said Obama wanted a basketball court, so he got that. Why can't Trump have a ballroom? Well, the basketball court costs less than $30,000. This ballroom is going to be over $400 million. A little different.
Did you, my question was more related to the app discussion. Did you have any ideas? I mean, you often talk about solutions and stuff. Did you, you don't think it's worth offering a thought or two?
Well, yeah, I'm always I'm always in favor of things that get people more aware and more involved, whatever that may be, because nothing's bad along those lines. The question we have to ask ourselves, if we do have a limited window of time, what is going to be the most effective use of each unit of organizational energy that we have available to us, and what things can really move the needle versus what may not? So I'm not really clear on what's what with that. I don't know how well this might do that. I think that, unfortunately, in the range of strategies, in most historical cases, not only is there traditional political activity, but there's also non-traditional activity, to leave it in a nice term. The non-traditional activity cannot be coordinated through an app, obviously, because they have people that are in the groups that track this stuff. They have algorithms. Unfortunately, we're going to have to organize outside of social media in terms of some of the more, let's just say, aggressive tactics, where it's going to be very easy to get caught or to be put in a bad spot. But I really, this is my thing. I really think that the biggest place where they're what does it tell us? Where's the vulnerability with the Iran war? It's the Strait of Hormuz. It's the economic impact of the changing flow of oil. Very similarly, just like with a company strike, why does the company give a shit? Well, they care because they're going to lose customers, which is losing market share. They're going to lose current sales, which is revenue. It all comes down to having leverage. And the question is, what's going to give us the most leverage in the shortest amount of time? And I don't know whether the app will do that or not.
You go where the people are. They're always looking at their phone. And, maybe if you saw an example of it, you would get it, So I'll just work on it anyway, and we'll just, because I don't think people quite understand what it is. Because, again, you're asking people to do something, and unless their house is burned down and they ain't got nothing, I don't see them getting up off their ass to do a fucking thing. But if they can look at their phone and have somebody instruct them to do something, because that's where we're at here with society.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't think they're going to do shit. I just, sadly. But I'll work on it either way. Okay, well, we can move on from that. 'Cause I'm not sure that we'll get a lot of like good brainstorming until people see and fully understand what it is. I wish Akate would reach out to me because she might have other ideas and thoughts about it since, it was kind of her outline anyway. Is there anything that you guys wanted to touch on, the Iran war or anything else? 'Cause I've been so busy working on that game that I haven't been paying really close
45
attention.
days and 50 refineries burning down.
Do what now?
45 days, 50 oil refineries burning down.
Oh, that should help gas prices. Nothing?
Oh, for sure.
All right.
I said, for sure.
No. I'm gonna. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.